Hello, welcome to Jason the Old Millennial. My name is Jason, speaking to you here in my basement in the great state of Kansas. In this video, I'm continuing my series of ranking every single Beatles song. This time, I'm in the top 80. I'm going from 80 to 77, so I'm going to go through those 4 songs here on my list, why I like them so much, here on Jason the Old Millennial. Hello, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well here on a Friday evening. Now we're into the month of December, and so it's one more month to kind of get everything done for the year and do all of our year ends, lists and stuff like that. So I'm continuing this series on the Beatles, getting to my top 80 now, and all 4 are from different albums. In fact, so it's different. Usually, sometimes I have a bunch of songs from the same album in a row for some reason. But yeah, I got some really good ones here. First at number 80, I have Another Girl, which comes off the Help album, Lennon-McCartney classic. Mostly it was written by Paul when he was on vacation in Tunisia. It's a song that he sings on the Help album, and I believe it's in the movie as well, when they're on like the Bahamas on the beach playing. It's a really nice scene there. But of course, Another Girl, it's an interesting song. It's nice, catchy. I love the Help album. So many nice, catchy tunes. This is another one. I love the guitar work from George. Is really great. But yeah, just really nice, catchy tunes. Some good harmonies in there. And interesting song. It's kind of somewhat of a selfish song because Paul is most likely writing about his relationship with his girlfriend, Jane Asher, which they had gone out for quite a long time, even got engaged at one point. But of course, even when you're a famous Beatle or one of the most famous people in the world, it's pretty common to have some side girlfriends, It's like you have your main girlfriend, and then when you're not with your main girlfriend, you might have a side girlfriend, when you're away in another country or something, I don't know, or at home, whatever. And so it's kind of a song about Paul almost kind of saying to his girlfriend Jane, like, if it doesn't work out, I got another girl, like, almost waiting, which he probably did. And in fact, I know he had like another girlfriend. I think her name was Dottie or something. I remember reading a lot about that he was almost like a second girlfriend for a lot of his time before he got married and all that. And he probably had a third girlfriend somewhere else, who knows, when you're famous and you're good looking and you got money, I mean, it's easy to get girlfriends. I have a feeling. From what I've heard, I haven't experienced that myself, but that's what I heard. And so, yeah, it's kind of a scathing song about if you don't treat me right kind of thing, well, I got another girl that will love me anyway. So if this doesn't work out, it'll be okay kind of thing. So not the greatest song from that standpoint, but yeah, I absolutely love the song though. Again, great catchy song from the Help album. Number 79 is a Ringo classic. It is With a Little Help from My Friends, which came off the Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Heart Club's album. Second song on the album, right after Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. Opening song, it kind of transitions really, really nicely into this song where we get Billy Shear / Ringo singing. It's written by Lennon McCartney, written specifically, it seems like, for Ringo, as from what I read. Like, they were thinking of a song for Ringo, because they always wanted to get Ringo a song normally, even though there's a couple albums, like, I think Hard Day's Night and Magical Mystery Tour and Let Be, he doesn't sing a song, I believe, but they often were trying to get, and Ringo wasn't a prolific writer himself, so Lennon and McCartney usually when they're coming up with an album, they usually try to write at least one song. Of course, sometimes Ringo would just do a cover song. They'd give him a cover song, but there's sometimes like this, and Yellow Submarine's another example where they specifically like wrote a song and said, hey, this is a good song for Ringo. Anyways, and so it was written for kind of Ringo and really fit him very well. I think his vocals are really good. In fact, I would say this is my favorite Ringo vocal work. It's my second favorite Ringo song, in fact. We did a ranking on Adam's What the Gym channel, or ranking all like 13 Ringo songs, I believe. Or maybe it was less than that. I can't remember. There wasn't a lot of songs that he wrote or that he sang. And this was number 2 on my list, so it's pretty high. It's definitely one of his biggest classics. I saw him sing this live a couple years, or 2019, I think it was. I saw him, the Ringo and the All-Star Band, and of course this was one of his big hits that he sung, and man, it was a lot of fun singing along to the song. It's one of the funnest songs to sing along to anyways, and so that was a big joy to sing with this song with Ringo on stage, Um, what I love about the song so much is I love the uh, Ringo or John and Paul and George would in the background would sing, and they would like ask a question, and then Ringo would like answer it or other way around, and so it's this great like question and answering. What would you do if I turn out the light or something like that? Or what would you do? You believe in love at first sight? Yes, I'm sure it happens all the time. Like, I love that call and response. I love when they do that in songs, and I thought they did it really well in here. Of course, and then they get right into that chorus. I get by with a little help from, I mean, very great, catchy chorus. A lot of good guitar work as well in this song, and good drumming as well. I enjoy the drumming here. And John was the one who came up with the question in each verse. He came up with the idea, let's start with a question and answer kind of thing on each verse. So that was kind of a really good idea from John, I think, that helped the song and made it unique. Anyway, so yeah, it's a classic. I mean, with a little help from him, with my friends at number 79, which I just mentioned, it's definitely one of those songs people say it's a marijuana song, it's a drug song. Help friend is actually like code word for like marijuana or something. I don't know. I don't like to think of it that way. I always, even the songs that they say are drug songs, I like to think of not drug songs. I think they're more interesting if they're not about drugs, if they're about people. And this is more interesting. It's about friends, about, you get help from your friends. It's a nice, nice sentiment. I don't know if it's really about drugs or not. That's the thing that's always talked about. And I always hate when they mention that, but yeah. Anyways, and I mentioned it just now, so. Number 78 is actually, I went from my second favorite Ringo song, and now I'm going to my favorite Ringo song, actually, back-to-back Ringo songs. At number 78, I have Octopus's Garden, which is actually my favorite of Ringo's. Came off of the last album, Abbey Road. It was the second song written by Ringo, second and last one. He wrote two songs, one from the White Album, one came on Abbey Road. This is the far superior one. To this other one that I've mentioned before that was lower on my list, Don't Pass Me By. And so I really like that he wrote this song, and I think, again, vocal work, very, very good. I think mostly I criticize Ringo because his vocals aren't nearly as good, of course, as John Paul and even George. But he has a kind of nice sounding voice that's sometimes kind of nice. He seems like a nice guy, kind of thing. And soothing kind of voice sometimes in these kind of songs. And it's kind of, from what everybody probably knows, like he was like on a yacht or something, or he was on a cruise, and someone mentioned to him about octopuses and how they make their own garden or something like that. Like they pick up rocks or something, and then near where their home is, I think they make themselves like a little garden or something like that. And of course, Ringo thought that was an interesting idea, I guess. And normally that's not something I would think of writing a song about, but Ringo came up with an idea for a song, wrote about, which is weird because he already had Yellow Submarine, which is about being underwater. Now he has a song about octopuses underwater. So he kind of thought, like, is Ringo really into underwater songs? But I don't know, just kind of coincidence, I guess. But yeah, I really enjoy the song. Again, got a really catchy chorus. I like to be under the sea, and it's fun to sing to. But I love the transition from verse to chorus is what I think I like about the song so much. Is he goes, and they will dance around, bum bum, they can't be found, boom 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 boom. I like the way they transition with the I don't know if there's piano in there maybe, and guitar and bass, and the way they do that, I just absolutely love it. And it's really nice sounding and different because from the verses are, very nice and catchy and decent melody. But then when you hit that, bum 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 to do. I absolutely love that. And the guitar work is so good on this song, and there's a nice little guitar solo. It has like a country western feel, which is different than what you normally hear out of the Beatles. But I like it. It's different. I believe George is playing that anyways. But yeah, it's really good sound on the guitar there that I really absolutely love. Like I said, I did this ranking on Adam's What the Gym channel, and this was my number one song, and it was his number one song too as well. So we both had the same number one. So I don't know if a lot of people, I always thought this was maybe a hidden gem kind of song, or this was maybe a hot take to say this is number one. So I don't know. Anybody out there, tell me, is this your favorite Ringo song, or what is your favorite Ringo song? I'd like to hear if I'm anywhere near anybody else's choices. But yeah, I don't think it's as big as With a Hello Help for My Friends, and Yellow Submarine seem to be bigger songs, more ones that you hear about more than this one. But I think this is absolutely excellent song. Like I said, my favorite Ringo song here at number 78. So no more Ringo songs. Sorry, Ringo. But it's still a really good song. I really enjoy this one. Number 77, the last song I'm going to talk about on this list, comes from the album With the Beatles, the second album, and it is All My Loving, which is one of the first, maybe the second song on, I think, on that the album. Definitely one of the top songs on that album, one of my favorite. I can't remember if I have another one. I didn't look to see. It's definitely number one or number two, my favorite songs off With the Beatles, because With the Beatles is my least favorite Beatles album, I guess, not counting Yellow Submarine album. It's definitely towards the bottom. It has a lot of cover songs on there, of course, and even the originals aren't some of the best, but yeah, this is definitely one of the top songs on that album, in my opinion. It's a Lynn McCartney written song, of course, mostly written by Paul, and he sings the song. But yeah, it's just a nice sounding song off of there. Got a lot of good background oohs and stuff like that, and Paul's really good vocals in here. He even hits a little bit of some good rock vocals in here as well. But yeah, nice catchy tune. I love nice catchy tunes from the Beatles. Some of these, or especially early Beatles, like, man, it's so much fun to watch, just listen to some of these early catchy songs that aren't very long, that you can get through pretty quickly. But yeah, this is definitely one of the best ones of his early songs, I think. Mostly Paul wrote this for, again, his girlfriend, Jane Asher. Jane Asher is funny, like, she was an actress, I guess, but she's not known in the United States at all. I even tried looking her up, and I haven't seen anything she's been in. So she's very local, I guess, to England, it seems like. And she did a lot of TV and I think theater work there. So she's somewhat famous, not hugely famous as Paul was, but I know they met and they started going out. And again, it could have been somebody that Paul could have married. He wrote a lot of songs for Jane, so Jane was a big influence in his life and songwriting and all that. And it's kind of interesting. I was reading about her dad was like a really, really good doctor. Like, he was a famous, like, some kind of, I forget what he did, but some kind of doctor anyways. So he's very smart. He also had like a big, like, book collection, I think. And he also was really into music as well. And he actually had a good singing voice, is what I read. And the mom was, I believe, a teacher of some sorts, and I forget exactly what, like an English teacher or something. Anyways, so they were fairly wealthy. Jane was like an actress, and her brother, I believe, is Peter Asher, who would go on to be in a band, a duo, Peter and Gordon, and they had some hit songs. So her brother was famous too for being a musician. So it was a very famous family, kind of, and very successful, wealthy, very smart. And so it's interesting, like, it was like perfect for Paul, because and it was so good for Paul, I think, because Paul absolutely loved that family. He helped write songs for Peter to help his career as a musician. So he's a lot of help to them. He loved reading all the books and loved talking. And the Ashers would get together, I think, and he would love getting together with the Ashers and talk about a lot of politics and philosophy stuff, and I don't know. So he really learned a lot, I think, being in that family. So, and this song is definitely a really loving song to Jane Asher, because it was kind of a fairly new girlfriend at the time. But I think he was having such a good time with the Asher family. I mean, so it's definitely a very loving song towards Jane, that he was in love with. I kind of love, first, love kind of thing. Not first, but, you first start getting a girlfriend, you really have those tender feelings anyway. So it's a really nice song, I think, for Jane, and kind of interesting learning about the whole family and everything, I thought. So yeah, so that's All My Loving at number 77 on my list. So that'll be the end of my list for today. So feel free to comment. What do you think about these songs? What's your favorite? Where should they be? Should they be higher or lower on your list? I'd love to read all about that. So thank you for watching this video. Thank you for liking it, and just thank you to all the subscribers for supporting the channel. I just appreciate all of you, and I wish you all have a good day.